Hey Rob, it's Wednesday again, which means it's time for my weekly Atral update. And this week I wanted to kind of go through some childhood memories that have recently surfaced. Um, and now some of them may be a little bit embarrassing, and I'm sorry about that, but just reminiscing and they had to be said. So, let's get started. I have about 15. First off, do you remember that you had outrageously large ears for your head when you were younger? Not that they're not big now still, but they were just really, really weird looking. And remember that one time that mom was cutting your hair and then she cut a chunk out of your ear? Ugh, it was bleeding a lot. That's all that I really remember. Number two, we worked at McDonald's together, and I just kind of was reminiscing on the times that we had there and kind of the people that we knew. So, like Megan, the manager, Tony, Joel, there was that weird chick with really dark hair and facial piercings. I think her name was Samantha or something. And Alicia, Kyle, Cody, Ray. Like, I just had a blast remembering all the things that we used to do and the people that we knew. So much fun. Number three, do you remember when we went skiing that one time and had an accident? Like, we were skiing together and then I crashed into this orange fence thing and like had to get carried away in that stretcher thing. Crazy times. Number four, and I'm sorry, this is probably going to be embarrassing, but do you remember when we were jumping on the bed that one time and then you fell off and instead of bumping your head, you got your butt and yeah, like you fell off the bed while jumping and hit the little night table beside the bed and then like cut your butt and had to go to the hospital. Oh, sorry. It had to be said. Number five, when we were quite little, we used to roll around on the carpet pretending that we were lava and ashes to amuse ourselves because apparently our parents didn't buy us toys or something. I don't know why we did it really, but good times. Number six, do you remember every morning for about 15 minutes we'd have snuggle time with mom and dad? And in the morning they'd like wake us up by yelling snuggle time and then we'd both go running in and jump into the bed and we'd just sit and talk there for 15 minutes and that's how we woke up every morning. I would like to do this with my kids when I have some because I think that's really like a nice little special morning time. That's definitely a good memory for me. And then when we went to bed, we always had to have mom and dad tuck us in. So I would go, Mom, Dad, and you'd reply, Mom, Dad, and we'd do that until they came to tuck us in. I don't know, like, that must have been so annoying for them. I can't even imagine. But you gotta do what you gotta do to get tucked in. Number eight is, do you remember when I was dating Ernest and you were dating Kira? And we would like fight over the phone multiple times a night. And then that one night, it was like so bad. We were so mad at each other. And you came storming into my room because I had gotten to the phone first. Then somehow you grabbed the phone and hung up. And then I punched you multiple times in the face and ended up breaking a nail. And then I went crying to Dad. And then you got in trouble. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That was mean. But yeah, hopefully we can both laugh about that now. Sorry. Number 9, we will stay on the same track as me being mean. Do you remember when we used to get into arguments once in a blue moon and I would like scratch the crap out of your arms and you'd be like bleeding? I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. Do you still have scars? I sure hope not. Number 10. Do you remember that one time when we were hiking? I forget where it was, but you know, shale, like the rocks that are like super thin and sharp. And remember that we were whipping them at like a rock wall, and then I like sliced my entire palm open. That hurt and was uncomfortable for the longest time because, like, obviously I was whipping it with my dominant hand because you gotta whip it. And yeah, so not being able to use your dominant hand, or not well anyway, was a bummer. I remember that. Number 11. So, do you remember when we used to go to Rosa as a babysitter? And her kids, Jeffrey and Rosie, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was their names. And then that time, I think we were getting back from camping or something, and Rosie, the daughter, she was doing something with a folding lawn chair of sorts, like one of the metal ones with the crappy plastic lining thing that's like woven. Anyways, so she was opening it and somehow it got caught on her tongue, like it snapped closed on her tongue and like split her tongue in two down the middle. I hope you were there for that. That was like the craziest thing of my life. There was so much blood. I forget if you were there, but hopefully you were. And then also on that note, with them again, we went somewhere with them where there were horses. And remember how I went to go pet the horse while it was eating, and then it just nonchalantly turned its head, bit my arm, and like threw me 15 feet, and I landed on like a pile of 2x4s. Crazy. I still have a blood clot in my right arm from that. Oh boy. Oh, yeah, it is my right arm. Yeah. And then number 12 would be the sports that we played as children. So, soccer, obviously, throughout our whole childhood. But then also, do you remember that we played shinny hockey together? And I played underwater hockey for the longest time. Remember, we also used to go over to that skating rink during the wintertime near our house, and we'd play with all the people there. And you guys were always mean to me, like always. I was always left out, and like that sucked. Thanks a lot, ass. Number 13. So, you know how siblings a lot of the time influence each other? Well, remember when you began biting your nails and I thought it was like the coolest thing to do because obviously my bigger brother was doing it. And so I started biting my nails too. Thanks. Thanks for that. And luckily it wasn't a habit that kept. Hopefully you've quit. That was just the worst, trying to kick that habit. But Mom, she bought that gross tasting nail biting nail polish. Ugh. Still makes me cringe thinking about the taste. Number 14. Do you remember when you were younger, you had like a massive gap in the middle of your two front teeth? It was so funny. Oh, poor Robert. Luckily, it's not there anymore. Or maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is still a little bit. You should get that checked out. Number 15. Do you remember when Dad designed the duplex that we lived in for most of our lives? And while that was being constructed, we lived in that little white bungalow just in the top floor, like our whole family in the top floor. And then that bird came through the chimney and was like flapping around everywhere. That was so scary, but it makes me laugh thinking about it now. Anyways, Rob, I really, no. You know what? I'm going to be adding more because I feel like these just need to be added. So, do you remember one time, I forget which boyfriend, but one of my boyfriends broke up with me and I was crying in my room. You came in and you said to me, "No boy is ever worth crying over." And that was just the sweetest thing that you could have ever said. Like, obviously it made me cry more because it was so sweet, but just that honestly made me feel so much better. And with that being said, I just have to say, even though we've had a few tussles here and there as children, I'm so thankful to have you as an older brother. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better brother and a better person to share all these hilarious, sad, and scary memories with. So I just have to say, I love you so much, Rob. I can't wait to see your video on Friday, and I hope you have a good week. Bye. Hi, Rob. I just realized I completely forgot to mention that I would just love if for one of your future videos you could do kind of something like I just did, reminiscing a little bit, reminding me of some hilarious or embarrassing memories, maybe get back at me a little bit. That would be wonderful. I will talk to you later. That is all. Bye.